Hello everyone, welcome back to Rathbone Manor this afternoon. As you can see, we're in the studio here because it's a lot warmer than it is down in the workshop. And anyway, I wanted to show you some magazines anyhow, namely some Meccano magazines. These go back a bit. My late father used to read Meccano Magazine, what, 60s, 70s I think it was. But got this little one here. With all the excitement of the recent Mars landing, Perseverance, and the little Ingenuity little helicopter thing, which I'm finding quite interesting, by the way. Quite interested in space flight, etc., science and all that sort of stuff. But I was looking through this here. Now this one is particularly interesting to me, this particular magazine, because, look, September 1960, that was the month I was born. So yes, I am quite old, quite ancient. So yeah, I picked these all came from a charity shop some years ago now. They were selling a load of them off and I just picked a selection. But namely this one here was of most interest to me, so let's take a closer look at it, shall we? Yeah, so speaking of space flight and Mars and what have you, I was flicking through this particular magazine. I mean, there's some interesting stuff in here. As you can see, look at that. How about that? Build your own bomber squadron. How well would that go down today? Oh, that's all right, there are only models. But yeah, look at this. Really interesting stuff in here. I love these old magazines going back a bit. All got their undersea cable, probably. But anywho, where is it? There's an interesting article in here, very appropriate for there you go, look at that. Space Notes, Flight to Mars. Awesome. So you've got a whole article about flying to Mars in here, and in 1960. Now, unfortunately, it's a little bit on the long-winded side of things. You know, talking about the design of large-scale engineering projects usually follows much the same pattern. And this goes on and on and on a little bit for quite some time. It says here, look, space flight is progressing in just this way, blah, blah. Artificial satellites have been discussed in general terms ever since the early 20s. Yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. And just take a little while to get round to talking about Mars, and there's only just 2 pages of it, remember. Space probes have all been launched, and it's most certain that the Russians will have a man-carrying deep space vehicle on the drawing board, if not in actual production. And they're talking about the next step is landing men on the moon, which we've already seen, although they hadn't back in 1960, obviously. But a proposal to land an 8-man expedition on Mars by 1972 has recently been made by Philip Bono. U2 possibly? No, I don't think so. A space vehicle designer at the at the Boeing Airplane Company. So, if you look at the vehicle, there it is. That's the vehicle right there, look. That's on the ground waiting to take off. This vehicle would be 248 feet high, somewhat taller than Nelson's monument in Trafalgar Square, it says here. 82 feet wide and would weigh over 4,000 tonnes, my word. In addition to the 8 men in the vehicle, would have to carry 40 tonnes of supplies, including 4 tonnes of exploratory equipment, a 2-ton ground vehicle, and a 1-ton collapsible shelter for use on Mars. And apparently, this is all going to take 259 days to get there, look. 7 liquid hydrogen rocket motors, giving a total thrust of 5,000 tonnes, would boost the vehicle into space and into its orbit to Mars. It's just going to orbit to Mars by the looks of it. And how long did it take Perseverance to get to Mars? Okay, so I've just been down on the interwebs, and apparently it was 203 days for Perseverance to get to Mars. So I don't know what these guys are hanging about for, I really don't. Anyway, having gone the long way round to get to Mars apparently, the landing glider would then be separated from the main living quarters and engines and brought down to landing on skids by the combined use of wings, a drogue chute and 3 retro rockets. So that's awesome, isn't it? And then we've got the headquarters during the 479-day exploration period would be an inflatable hemispherical shelter with electric power supplied by a nuclear auxiliary unit installed a little way from the camp. So, interesting. So you're going to have an inflatable, I think that's it there, look. You're going to have an inflatable little camp to live in on Mars. Yeah, probably not then. Don't think I'd want to try there. And then we go on to say, for the return trip, the landing glider would have its own built-in launching ramp. There we go. Look at that, just launching off the back end of the landing stage. Look, there it goes. Nice. There would be a separate joint so that the rear portion, so that the let's have a look at this. Hang on. So that the rear portion could be anchored to the ground. 2 of the 3 rockets motors used for landing would be installed in the front half and used to boost the smaller glider into orbit. Now, does that mean then that these guys have got to move the rockets from here to here, or are they already installed? They might already be installed, I don't know, but it did say something about moving stuff as I remember. And of course, once they meet up in space, they've got to recouple, as they put it here, not docking but recoupling. The vehicle would begin its 259-day journey back to orbit around the Earth. Again, the glider would be uncoupled and would return to the Earth's surface over 2.5 years after takeoff. So that means then that the heat shields on this little fella here have got to be really quite thick, because they've got to take in the re-entry heat of Mars and then the re-entry heat coming back home again. So that's interesting. Must have some bloody good heat shields, I reckon. And then the article goes on to talk about space food. Carry all the requirements will be obviously involve tremendous weight penalty. So they're talking about 4 main lines of food are now being developed for the first short flights. Semi-solid food in tubes, tablet foods such as bacon tablets and cheese tablets. Imagine that, bacon and cheese tablets. Where'd they come from then? But tablet pigs. What else we got? Rod foods such as dehydrated foods. And then for slightly longer flights, the US Air Force is developing food containers that can be eaten. Eaten tin cans, eh? Yeah, so there's quite an interesting little article there, isn't it, guys? So they've been working on going to Mars for quite some time. I think also it mentions in here somewhere, if I can find it for you, let me have a look. Here we go. We can expect within the next 5 years to see a spate of detailed schemes for landing exploration parties, that's people, on both Mars and Venus. Well, good luck with that one, guys. That's quite an interesting article, and very, for today, with Perseverance and little, what's the name, Ingenuity, the little helicopter on Mars at the moment. I really do hope that little helicopter flies. I think they were having some problems with it recently, though. They're having some problems with the little Ingenuity helicopter at the moment. I think from what I saw the other day, they were running the blades up at 50 RPM or something, but it wouldn't. They wanted to spin them a little faster, but it wouldn't go from pre-flight mode into flight mode. So they're looking into that. So we're going to have to wait a little longer. I believe it's 14th of April, and they'll try again to get it to fly. So let's hope they can sort that one out. Yes, that's a thoroughly interesting little article there. I think they could have gone into a little bit more detail, but yeah, how interesting. Yes, so I do find these old vintage magazines quite interesting, because they do have some interesting articles in them. Really quite interesting articles. There's the lightning there, look. English Electric Lightning, the old fighter planes. Models, Dinky Toy News, for instance. Look at that, that's interesting. The old cars. I had Dinky Toys when I was a kid too. And the odd Corgi toys, but railway notes. And of course you've got all the slightly iffy adverts in here as well. Oh yeah, look at that. BSA Meteor. Now I had one of those. In fact, I've still got it somewhere, my old BSA Meteor. Don't know where it is, but it's actually behind you guys, down there. So yeah. Dinky Toys again, nice. So yeah, I quite enjoy vintage magazines. I've got quite a few kicking about, motoring ones and a few other bits and pieces. But yeah, but this one here, as I say, I picked this one out specially because it's from my birth month. So what I'm looking out for at the moment is a Garrington jackdaw. I have a couple of them here. There's a small, what's this one? This is an 8-inch. And this one here is a 10-inch. Now these jackdaws, the two I've got, are actually got a date stamp on them. Let's have a closer look. Okay, so the smaller one, there it is 0955, and this 10-inch is 11, so that's November 1951. So when I return to the car boot sale, which will be next week now, hopefully, all things considered, you know, the weather and what have you, I should be looking out for a Garrington jackdaw marked 0960, because that will have been made when I was born. So that's excellent. So I was looking out for some of those. All of these magazines are from the 60s. This one's 1960, we have 1962, 1963. This is also 1963, this one here. But this one here is from around about the time when they changed the pattern and the cover in 1965, look. So yeah, but that was a very interesting article in there. So yeah, so hopefully this time next week you guys will have seen what I picked up from the car boot sale with any luck. I'm hoping it's going to not be raining. At the moment the weather says it's nice and sunny, so that'll be alright. But yeah, so these old magazines, I really do like these. Anything vintage like that. I picked up this, was it last year or the year before? Can't remember. What have we got here? Workaday arithmetic. And for somebody like me who's absolutely no good with numbers at all, this is quite an interesting little book as well. So I don't know how old this is. This is going back a bit as well. Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't give a date in here, but it was so obviously some sort of LCO. Don't know what that's all about. And looks like a previous owner's got his name in there too. Look, Roy Evans by the looks of it. But yeah, I love all this sort of stuff, old stuff like this. It's quite interesting, really. And I keep it in this bag to protect it too. So let's get it back in the drawer, where it'll be nice and safe. There we go. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed your trip over to Rathbone Manor this afternoon in the nice warm studio here, taking a look at the Mars flight in Meccano Magazine here. I do hope you'll pop by again, because I'm sure I'll have something else of interest for you to take a look at. So yeah, thanks for watching.